Okay, so next we are going to Ross Blocher of Oh No, Ross and Carrie. Do we have Ross ready? Awesome. Here comes Ross.
Hi.
Hey, there he is.
Ross gets the award for the fastest answer.
And
Hey,
mad
right,
props for the Skeptoid t-shirt also. Thank you, sir.
Oh, that's embarrassing. Are we wearing the same shirt?
Oh my God. I'll take mine off. So, how long have we known each other? Like 30 years, right? A long time. I realized this week that I had never pronounced your last name and didn't know if I was pronouncing it correctly, which was a surprise to me. I said Blocher.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. It doesn't look like that could be right, but it is. So I'm glad I did not insult you by mispronouncing your name.
I would have been fine either way.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to play is a small clip from Ross's show. When you did a touring show with Carrie, took Oh No, Ross and Carrie on the road, and you came to Portland. And I was lucky enough, I brought a few friends, we came up and we watched the show. So let's go ahead and play clip number 32.
Bring the screen over if you would, please.
Where to go? They say we're only dreaming.
A whole new world, a dazzling place I never knew. But when I'm way up here, it's crystal clear. Now I'm in a whole new world. I believe indescribable feeling, soaring, tumbling, freewheeling through endless night and sky, a whole new world. Shooting star, I've come so far, I can't go back to where I used to be. Every turn a surprise, every moment that matters, I'll chase them everywhere. It's time to start, let me share this whole new world with you. It's where we live, a wondrous place for you and me.
Oh, that's great.
So I apologize, that clip went on longer than I remembered.
You got to share that with me. That was great footage. Yeah, well, what's important to say about that is that behind us was a picture of the flat Earth. And so we were reinterpreting the Whole New World song just in light of having come to the acceptance of flat Earth belief.
I don't think I knew that. Maybe I couldn't see it from where I was sitting up there.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, you're welcome, because that'll be stuck in your head for another week now.
Well, actually, no, it won't, because you inspired us. And I don't know if you saw the very start of our program this afternoon at 1:13 p.m., but you inspired the way that we started this particular broadcast. That's all I'll say.
I at least came in when you were playing the clip that Rachel was singing.
Oh, no, you missed the other one then. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay.
Maybe later you'll go back and have a look. So, and as I observed at the time, I thought it was humorous that of the two of you, you're the one who had to read lyrics off a cheat sheet, and you're the one who actually does work at Disney. I was amused by that.
To defend myself, I certainly do know the lyrics to that song, but I was afraid I was going to be on stage and get something wrong, so I had the karaoke version running. And Carrie had come up with that idea 45 minutes before the show that we sing this in front of everybody.
Now I remember I came backstage to say hi to you guys before the show, and just as I was leaving, which was like 2 minutes before the show started, I said as a joke, you guys are probably going to come out and sing something, right? And I swear I was joking and did not know that was actually about to happen.
Well, hey, I think we have that in common, that every now and then we go musical on our show, as you do.
Yeah, and every time I decide it's a bad idea, maybe we shouldn't do that again, but I don't know.
No, but then, 50 episodes go by and you forget that. You do things again. That's why people have children, right?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, you have the first kid, they're really easy. You say, boy, we're great parents. Then kid number 2, nope, that wasn't the explanation.
Well, I've surrounded myself with some physical implements of our various investigations that we do for Ono, Ross, and Carrie. In fact, I'm undergoing 2 investigations currently as we speak. I have a device on my back and I have a detox pad on my foot.
You haven't done the detox pads yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh, wow.
The Independent Investigations Group, of which I am a member, we did a video about the Kanoki detox pads. But yeah, we haven't covered it on the podcast, so
Okay.
I've been wearing those lately.
So what's on your back? Is it another detox patch as well?
No, it's one of these, you see them all over the internet, these upright go posture correctors, and nothing paranormal about it per se, but yeah, I'm trying it out. So I have this app that essentially tracks my progress and lets me know if I'm slouching, and either it'll buzz me in real time if I'm slouching, or I can set it to, like text me if I've been slouching for 15 minutes straight.
So it's not like trying to correct your posture. It's just giving you feedback on. It has an accelerometer in it, like a cell phone.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So here's slouchy Ross.
Somehow doing this as an investigation just doesn't seem to have the pizzazz of some of your others, like joining the Raelian sex cult and becoming Scientologists. That's all.
They can't all be sex cults, Brian.
What do we need to re-zip his camera?
Let's see. Yeah, let me turn it off
He
and
needs
then
to
back on.
stop his
Yeah.
and restart.
Yeah, camera off and on.
Okay, let me try
See
that.
if that happens.
It's not responding.
Well, this is a good view of you. We could just roll with that as well. The Skeptoid logo is prominently featured on the screen, so.
Hey, all right. As long as my voice is coming in. I don't know. I'll see if this starts responding again.
Okay. Well, anyway, let's chat while you do that. So anyway, for those who don't know, do you want to tell us what Ono, Ross, and Carrie is all about? I mean, kind of got given the idea. You guys actually try the weirdest, craziest things that people do.
Yeah. So you do all this great research and warn us about things that we can avoid and not waste our money on, and then we try them, and we waste our money on them.
That is a perfect explanation. I love that. It's always been ever since you guys started. When did you start anyway? This is our 13th. What is your where are you in your history of the show? You're at least. Uh-oh. Oops. We lose the whole stream?
We're going to kill it and reconnect with it.
Okay. Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Hey, sorry about that.
Oh, hey, there we go. We're all good now. So anyway, just as I was saying, I love the. Well, first of all, how old is this show?
The podcast has been going on for 8 years.
8 years, okay. And you froze again. That was, well, it worked for a brief time.
Yeah, I hear you, but lost the video. You know what? Shall I do a quick reboot? See if that helps.
Reboot like the whole computer, or just quit Skype?
Yeah, that may be my best method.
Do you have another device you could pick it up on in the
You
interim?
know what? I think I have Skype on my phone. Let me try that real quick.
We don't want to make the internet wait long.
Yes, indeed. Okay, let's see here.
We'll just fix this in post. We'll edit this so you'll never see it in the live stream.
Oh, good. Okay, let's try. Oh, goodness. I am going to the App Store. Oh, this is great.
Oh my God. We could just try a FaceTime call and I could just hold it up to the
Coders are
camera like
standing
that.
by.
Okay, let's try this.
You do have his audio, so he's...
Oh, fun. Technical difficulties. Yeah, I saw the Rachel call earlier.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. That was brutal.
Here, I'll give you the finger now, and you won't even be able to see it.
That was, I've been in some hot seats in my life. That was the hottest hot seat I've ever been
Oh,
on.
no.
That was just tough. Well, let's since we're live, let's continue our conversation. We can just have that view of you.
Okay.
So you've been going for 8 years, and the thing that you guys do is you'll do, how long are your series? You usually go 4 or 5 episodes or so when you're trying a particular thing.
We have a lot of the one-offs, and we have longer series. Our longest ones are like Scientology, that was 10, 11 episodes, and ayahuasca. That retreat had a lot of other things that.
Uh-oh.
Call.
I think we're losing the audio too now. We might have to try that reboot.
Okay, let's see here. I am. If you want to try calling me again, I'm on the phone.
Okay, let's try that. Let's cut him off and try him on the phone. Pay no attention to that man sitting in the chair.
Okay. Hey, how's that?
Camera.
And turning on video.
Hey,
Okay.
wonderful.
All right. Hey.
Okay, cool. So ayahuasca, how was that? Disclaimer, I have not done ayahuasca.
Okay, so maybe a good thing. Yeah, it's boy, I had never done so much as marijuana before in my life, and then I went straight to ayahuasca, which is this potent hallucinogenic drug that comes attached with a lot of claims about spiritual enlightenment and otherworldly beings that you find, and plant intelligence. That was very much taught to us at the resort, that we would have this plant intelligence imparted to us. And for 4 nights in a row, I tried this, and they first give you a hit of another drug called rapé, and then they give you the actual substance itself, which tastes like kind of an earthy prune juice, if prune juice wasn't earthy enough for you already. And it takes a while to set in, like maybe half an hour or so, and you're just kind of sitting there on your cot, and they've given you a bucket that they call your amigo, because a lot of people are going to be vomiting. It's well known for that. And,
well, they do that on purpose, don't they? Don't they actually mix something in the first night that pretty much makes you throw up?
Oh, that's a good. You know what? I think it's actually part of the mixture of there's kind of 2 active ingredients, and I think one is kind of geared to line your stomach a bit so that you don't immediately absorb the drug and has a longer lasting effect.
Huh.
And these ceremonies go 10 to 14 plus hours. Because it takes a long time to wear off. So I think that's part of it as well, that process kind of makes you throw up, because your stomach's like, what is this? Let's get rid of it. First you see geometrical patterns and all the crazy visions that you hear about or see depicted in popular media. I don't know, that had been my only interaction with drugs before that. And then you go into this, like I always have painted as this diagram, like you dive to the depths of human emotion, and you're miserable, and you feel utterly alone, or utterly disgusted, or utterly sad. You just hear people crying and sobbing around you, and you hear people vomiting, and you've got this kind of music going on in the background that's flutes and I don't know, guitars, and eventually, after like hours, you come out of that, and then you go into the heights of just excitement and happiness, and all of a sudden, every axiom you've ever heard just makes sense, and it's connected to everything else in the whole world. Wow, oh my goodness, it all makes sense. It's all so true. So it's a wild ride, and I did it 4 nights in a row. After the 3rd night, I would have told everybody, you should do it once in your life. This is amazing. It's so cool just to have your brain firing in that way. And I would still say that, but I would say take it easy. Don't go any farther than you think you need to. Because on the 4th night, I was starting to get like sort of spasms, and that should have been a warning sign. I wasn't seeing as much, but I was having spasms. And so I thought, well, for the listeners, I was trying to write a journal, so I was taking notes this whole time while I was on drugs in the dark, talking about my vision of the snake that was singing at me and stuff like that. And so I took an extra drink, and I ended up for, I don't know, it must have been, you lose all sense of time, but I think it was roughly 6 hours because the sun was coming up. I was out on the lawn with my shirt off, yelling like a madman because I thought I was dying. I was convinced I was dying from ayahuasca in Costa Rica. It was terrible. So it's a fun story, and we took many episodes to tell it.
So you mentioned Costa Rica because you have to travel outside the U.S. to do this, right?
Right. Well, not necessarily. There are places with religious exemptions in the U.S.
And of course.
So you can go there. Yeah, they're part of a certain church. It can be done. So I would say just be very picky, choosy about your location and surroundings. Don't have just the buddy, the amigo to vomit into. Bring an actual friend who can keep an eye on you.
So you can vomit on your friend. It's not necessary to give me specific advice on how to go about finding the best ayahuasca place. I didn't really have it on my list, but...
Oh, okay. All right. Well, for anybody listening, bad things have happened to people who do it just as kind of a tourist thing. Hold on. I'm going for a mount I can put my phone on. Oh, it's missing the phone attachment.
Go for the crystal skull. We want to be mounted on the crystal skull.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We got Himalayan salt candle. We got the haunted doll from that episode that you saw in Oregon. Bought that online. We got your crystal skull. Got some other fun stuff around here. Some of my ghost hunting equipment. Some more of those foot pads. I bought 4 different brands just to be safe.
That's safer than buying just one brand.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing.
You get more effectively detoxified, I guess.
You're right. So yeah, we get ourselves in all kinds of uncomfortable situations, and I think that's something that Carrie and I share. It's just this ability to sort of revel in the discomfort and have fun. Just recognizing how awkward it is that we're being, escorted out of Scientology, and now we're on their rogues gallery. So anyone who works at any Scientology location in the greater Los Angeles area, as far as I can tell, is trained to recognize us on sight and turn us away.
Well, that's better than being on their proselytizing list.
Yeah, they can be so disorganized. There we go. Hey, we've got a mount. No, I'm not
Sweet.
holding the thing. They can be so disorganized, and for all the paperwork they keep, they'll still they would send me emails for a long time after they kicked me out. So they invited me to this L. Ron Hubbard her birthday event. They hold a big birthday event for him every year. So I showed up and I signed in with my real name. And when I started posting to our Facebook page for the podcast, that's when they started trying to triangulate me from the photos I'd taken. And they located me and they escorted me out of the building. And so then they stopped sending me emails after that because they said, well, why did you come to this? I said, you invited me and said, oh, welcome. And so then they kept sending me physical mail, and I think I posted screenshots of that. And so they finally stopped sending me mail. So there you go. That's how you get off of Scientology's email list. You create a podcast and you share everything they send you.
I feel that Skeptoid needs to have this whole kind of high security thing, and we need to hold events and have a rogues gallery and security people on the lookout for distasteful personnel. That's kind of cool.
The emails you post, like the high villainy, things people write you are terrible. So yeah, I can see why you might want to create such a list.
The last few weeks have just been amazing. The stuff that I've gotten, I've been hitting the delete button more often than ever before.
Is it because you did like an episode about climate change?
No, I don't really think that it's due to anything in particular.
Okay.
It's because they're usually not coherent enough to seem to be relevant to any particular topic. It's just been a fun couple weeks in the email department is all.
Okay, because Carrie and I try to be nice. I mean, and I don't see your show as being mean at all. It's just very factful. It's everything stated as fact. But yeah, the kind of vitriol that you get even exceeds what we get when we trample on people's beliefs. So it always makes me feel good when you post those messages because I think, oh, good, at least our haters aren't so hateful.
Oh my gosh! So how was the Raelians?
Oh yeah, the Raelians were a really fun group. It's funny, like the 3 including them. Well, Scientology didn't come after us legally, but the ayahuasca resort did actually try to sue us after our reporting. And long story short, they lost. But yeah, the Raelians ended up sending us a cease and desist, and we had to respond to them with our lawyer. But during the investigation itself, to say a little bit about Raelism, it's this UFO group. They were founded by this French man who was like an aspiring pop star and race car driver. And then, I think the timeline supports this. I think he read Chariots of the Gods. And then he decided, I could make my own little interpretation of how, if we reinterpret the Bible in the light of the Elohim being aliens, then, I could have my own religion. And so he did that. He wrote a couple books like Intelligent Designers. That's kind of a later compilation. There's some very literal titles to the books that are really funny. I'm trying to remember the exact wording of the title, but anyway, so they're all about waiting for these aliens to come back. We build them an embassy. They should return by 2035. I think it's just time so that Rael probably won't be alive by the time his prophecy doesn't come true. And they're also all about free love. Or at least that's kind of one of the things that gets publicized. They'll have kind of public demonstrations about going topless, like women should be able to be topless in public, and they also, their symbol is a swastika ensconced within a Star of David.
That I didn't know. That's wild. Wow.
Yeah, so they sell jewelry, and like Carrie bought a necklace, and she eventually thought, it's not worth trying to explain to everybody. This horribly offensive-looking necklace. So yeah, they're kind of a funny bunch. They're kind of a peace-loving hippies, but yeah, if you cross them or say anything bad about them, then they turn into a little more culty.
You see, I didn't realize that they were as organized as that. I mean, my sense of them was just kind of some free love hippies who said, hey, if we act like we're part of this Raelian organization, it gives us some legitimacy.
Yeah, there's some organization, but every now and then you get kind of a peek into the fact that they're not so organized. They're not quite big enough to be really organized.
Do you know if they have like a church headquarters?
They do, yeah, and they'll have kind of leads for each continent. So there will be like, I'm at the North American guide, I think. There's some sort of honorific attached to that. And I'm trying to think where the chief headquarters are. There's a lot of them, like at the Happiness Academy that we attended. That's their annual meeting, is the Happiness Academy. We met a lot of people from the Montreal area. There's a lot of French-speaking Raelians who feel that Rael's writings just really spoke to them. And there's a lot, like in Japan, for some reason it's popular there. Yeah, I feel like the headquarters are somewhere in Europe, but I think I'd be guessing at this point.
I think was he Belgian or was he French? He was French.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and really, I think it becomes rapidly apparent that all of this, as many religions are, all of this was created for him to have sex with lots of young women. And that worked. There's a whole group called Rael's Angels, and, it's their job to kind of meet his fantasies and, to sing for him. And it's very uncomfortable.
It's amazing that there's so many examples of that around the world, and you just got to figure it's some kind of a codependency thing. Some people need to have that, and some people need to give that.
Yeah. It's sad how often it boils down to that. One of the scariest groups that we ever ventured into was the Tony Alamo Ministries cult. And there I have no problem saying cult. I try to use the term advisedly, because there's certain signs of a cult, and there'll be sort of a checklist, and you'll start hitting off, okay, do we have a leader who gives a lot of rules for everybody else but doesn't obey them, him or herself? Do they try to govern small aspects of your life? Do they ask that you give up all of your material wealth, stuff like that? And after you start hitting up enough boxes and really trying to control people's lives, that's kind of the bottom line, and you get into the cult category. So Scientology is that. Tony Alamo Ministries was that. And to give some of the highlights there, Tony Alamo had been married to Susan Alamo and had kind of a television ministry back in, I want to say, the 60s. And after she died, I think he just had this steady decline, where at first he kept her body for 9 months and assured people that she would come back to life, until finally her family had to take legal action to get her back. And over time, he stepped up the craziness, and still his followers pass out all these pamphlets with these big black bold titles about how the Pope is the Antichrist and stuff like that. But eventually, he served a 175-year sentence, well, some of it, for marrying girls as young as 8 and 9.
Oh,
really
my gosh.
Sick, gross stuff. So he was in jail by the time that we came to visit them, and they were all defending him. And it was weird. They would give kind of two defenses. One was, or at least at the same time, they would say he's innocent, but at the same time, they'd be arguing, well, it's okay for women to get married as young as 8 and 9. So you say, okay, so are you saying he didn't do that, or are you saying he did do that and it's okay? That was never clear.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the definition of the church? Difference between a cult and a church is that a cult is one where the founder is still alive. That seems to hold true more often than not.
It's a good rule of thumb. Yeah, I think you could find exceptions either way. But yeah, I think usually time is sort of a moderating influence, and eventually the wilder extremities start to get sanded away. And you see that with the Mormon Church right now, where they're trying to kind of deal with some of the more embarrassing aspects of Joseph Smith and his polygamy and his seeing stones and all that. But eventually, though, no one remembers or has records of the people who founded these religions. And then, you just become, a religion, mainstream.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, we're almost out of time. We've got just enough time for you to throw us all of your URLs and everything where people can go to find out more.
Okay. Well, the podcast is on Facebook at /ONRAC, ONRAC, for Oh No, Ross and Carrie. And we're on Twitter at Oh No Podcast, and ohnopodcast.com, or our network, MaximumFun.org. That's where you can find us.
Are you still doing any more of the live tour shows?
We called it quits after that last 10-city circuit. That was pretty intense. But I think we might be appearing up in San Francisco again in January. That's to be confirmed yet.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, Ross, great to talk to you as always. Always fun to see you.
Great to be here. Thanks, Brian, and congratulations. Happy birthday.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, see ya.
All right, see ya.
One thing I hope we get time to talk about, but we didn't, but we used to have the Skeptics in the Jeep trips from when I was down in Orange County. The Skeptics in the pub, whatever we called it in Orange County, we would have Skeptics in the Jeep. And everyone who had a Jeep or some Jeep-like vehicle, we'd all load up and we'd go out to the desert for a few days. And Ross and I, both of our sons are named Andrew, and so the four of us jumped into the Skeptoid monster Jeep, and we had just a great time going through parts of Death Valley, and oh gosh, a big adventure that I don't want to talk about because it was really embarrassing. Anyway, so I'm going to scratch that one off my list, and we're going to move on.